first and foremost, I'd like to say that I was a huge Dragon Ball Z fan growing up, and Broly was my favorite villain, if not my most favorite Dragon Ball character of all time. The idea behind having a form that was not unlike the Kekkei Genkai of Naruto was alluring to me, and the sheer absurdity of his power, design, and abilities really cemented him as a serious character among serious characters. I haven't had the time to watch as much anime in recent years as I would have liked, mainly due to being married and having adult responsibilities, time constraints, and income redirection. But when it came down to it, I still considered myself a die-hard Dragon Ball fan. Then, Super came out, and I took one look at it before vomiting all over myself and what I could only assume was confusion. I was much older now and had developed my taste in what I perceived good writing and storytelling was. Super was a giant eye-opener and made me heavily reconsider my previous thoughts on the Dragon Ball franchise as a whole. I didn't have time to sit through the entirety of the filler and powering up scenes, so I just listened to Team 4 Star's abridged version of Dragon Ball Z while I was at work. Side note, I'm an Amazon delivery provider, so I'm able to do that. Whilst rewatching through Dragon Ball Z, I happened to find that there were not only several major plot holes, but just bad writing in several places for the sole purpose of continuing the plot. Now, I understand that Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, GT, and Super are all made for children, but I find that excuse only translates to we don't have to put as much effort into it because kids are stupid and we don't care about making something genuinely good for them. So if you're watching this video with that mentality in mind, I beg you to see things from my perspective. I, like most adults, recall in their childhood for a sense of foundation, character, and purpose. Finding something that I considered sacred for myself doesn't hold well against a microscope really makes me question whether the time that I spent on it was even worthwhile. Now, I am considering making a video talking about Dragon Ball Z specifically, but I decided since that the Broly movie was the most recent thing to come from Akira Toriyama's fever dream of a franchise, and since the character was so near and dear to my heart, and since YouTube is based off of algorithms where the only thing that matters is what's popular at the moment, and since someone decided to illegally upload the entire movie to YouTube, which allowed me to collect my thoughts as I viewed each scene, I figured I'd explain my thoughts and tell you guys this. The Broly movie sucks. Here's why. One of my major gripes with most forms of media these days is the sheer amount of pandering, referencing, and Easter egg hiding that a lot of things like to do. I'm looking at you, Halloween 2018. That'll come up as I explain some scenes later on in this video. I just wanted to set you up so I can simply state pandering, referencing, or Easter egg hiding for time's sake. So the idea behind the Broly movie is actually based off of the 8th Dragon Ball Z standalone film titled Broly, the Legendary Super Saiyan, released 2 years before I was even born in 1993. The timelines for these standalone films have always been a mystery to me and are really hard to place since there are very few ways to tell based off of the characters present. It's speculated that the original movie takes place before the Cell games began in the anime, meaning that the initial meeting with Broly was before Cell was even fought. This obviously brings up some canon differences and basically turns every Broly movie and the ones that mention him into a Dragon Ball GT situation. Obviously the movies were created simply to cash into the DBZ franchise hard, so I'm sure timelines weren't in the forefront of the Takeo Koyama's thoughts, but it's at least worth stating. So the movie begins and we're on planet Vegeta, prior to when Frieza blew it up to Kingdom Come. King Cold arrives to meet the Saiyans and introduces his son Frieza, and announces his resignation from the role of Galactic Overlord and places his son Frieza in charge. I have no issue with this, as I've always wondered where that transition happened, but why on earth did you need to summon an entire army of henchmen? King Cold himself, Frieza, Zarbon, Dodoria, the Ginyu Force, and most of the Saiyans for this little exchange to happen. Isn't there an entire galaxy to rule? Aren't the Ginyus and Zarbon / Dodoria like your best men? This seems like a huge waste of manpower. I like to attribute this simply to pandering, since I'm sure every 8-year-old in the audience simply said, "Oh my gosh, there's Zarbon, there's Dodoria, oh my gosh, the Ginyu Force." And if you thought all of this was for protection, need I remind you that this is Frieza we're talking about. He literally just snipes 3 people like it was nothing, one of whom had a power level of 2000. I don't see why you couldn't have just sent a messenger. Or just the Ginyus. Seriously, I'm sure Ginyu could handle every single one of the Saiyans. Dodoria handled all of Bardock's team and Bardock. Then we have an unnecessary moment in the movie where they introduce the Scouters that we all know and love, but for some reason, it's Frieza handing them out. Hey everyone, I brought cookies, come get one. It's like in that scene from the prequel to The Thing, where that girl told that guy not to take the axe out of the wall because the axe was in the original thing, and they have to show everyone how that axe was so important and make it a Easter egg or reference. I don't know which one this is, but my point is, it's unnecessary and it's answering a question that literally nobody had. Where on earth did the Scouters come from? Who cares? Now this is more of a personal gripe, but the version of the movie that I watched was the English dub, which I'm thankful for because I legitimately hate how Goku sounds in Japanese. Nothing against the Japanese people, it's just, I can't. But I'm really sick of hearing Funimation's voice actors. Like, really, really sick of listening to them. King Vegeta is voiced by Christopher Sabat, just like half of the other characters in any anime that Funimation dubs, and it really helped my experience and immersion if I didn't hear this guy voicing like a bazillion characters in any show I watch. Look, Mom, it's the same guy who voices All Might. Anyway, we get a more in-depth look at how the Saiyans live within Planet Vegeta, and I've gotta say, these badass warrior aliens are pretty pitiful. I don't know why, but seeing them act all lovey-dovey with each other, King Vegeta basically babying his infant son, Bardock, whose inclusion in this movie is literally only for pandering, making this stupid speech about how he destroys all the time and just wants to protect something for once. These are not Saiyans. These are humans. Why the hell is there a Saiyan dude who's only there for traffic control? He literally says, I'm not a warrior, when he's part of a warrior race. Like, why? There's a scene where King Vegeta is talking out loud to his son, who can't understand words yet, about how he's so ready for his son to be king. And he turns around and there's just another baby in a test tube behind him. I'm not really sure how tyrannical King Vegeta was during his reign, but something tells me most people with a couple brain cells would know that baby Vegeta, being royalty and all, should get his own isolated space in this area. But these dumbasses just put Broly here. Oh yeah, that's Broly. They just put him right next to baby Vegeta and proceed to tell King Vegeta that Broly deserves to be there because he's like 100 million times stronger than Vegeta. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I think the next scenes literally write themselves. King Vegeta gets pissed, sends Broly out to die. Broly's dad doesn't like that, tells King Vegeta that he doesn't like that. King Vegeta threatens to kill him, and the two make out when the scene ends. It was really hot. Broly's father, Paragus, steals a ship to find whatever planet Broly got sent to, and we get more unbelievably forced references and pandering. Hey, don't look at the moon too much or you'll turn into a great ape. OMG, I've never gone great ape before. Yeah, let's not do that because you lose all sense of yourself, so be careful. Yeah, it's a real conversation between two people who've never met, one having kidnapped the other. There's this Bardock scene, which means literally nothing besides more pandering and retconning, and bing bam boom, Frieza shows up to blow the planet away. Only, there's none of that scene from the beginning of Z where Bardock fights valiantly to save Planet Vegeta, or even anything from Bardock, the father of Goku, just Frieza showing up, sending a bunch of henchmen down to fight the Saiyans? Can't this guy blow up a planet? Oh my god, he actually sends a bunch of his henchmen down and just blows them the hell up. Amazing. I would like to say that Bardock's death scene was really cool and a good remake of what it used to be, but only visually. The setup was forced, rushed, and unnecessarily shoehorned in out of nowhere. It's like watching a Batman movie and them showing us Batman's parents getting shot for the 47th freaking time. I also have no idea why any of the other Saiyans didn't jump in to save Bardock, or at least try to survive. I also don't know why they put so much emphasis on King Vegeta as a character if they don't even show his death in the movie. Like, why focus on Bardock out of nowhere if the narrative was following King Vegeta and Paragus? It's confusing and bad writing. Bad pacing. I also like how all of Bardock's clothes get blown off, but there's a patch of cloth to cover up his dangly bits. Gotta keep this family friendly now, or else we can't make as much money. After Vegeta gets blown up, we get a scene of one of those off-planet Saiyans receiving a transmission and relaying it to Nappa and this guy. Only, he's getting the message on his scouter. and both of the other people there also have scouters. Wouldn't they also receive the message? Quick! Gotta mention that Raditz and Vegeta were supposed to be on planet when it blew up but ignored orders. Doesn't that make their survival that much more impactful? Quick! Gotta mention Vegeta's brother, because that's important. You remember Super, when they introduced that? Do you remember Vegeta's brother? Anyone? I also gotta give Akira Toriyama props for making me actually want to slap him across the face. These people regurgitate the words latent abilities and low-class warrior like it's going out of style. Yada yada yada, Goku lands on Earth and we get a cool little thing showing us time passing and all of Goku's adventures. Only it literally only shows Goku and Vegeta, since every single one of us knows that literally no other characters in this franchise matter at all. Remember whenever Gohan was supposed to be the most powerful being at the end of the Cell Saga? Yeah, me neither. Whis is still doing that annoying anime thing where he eats food and orgasms all over the place. Bulma and the actual god of destruction are chilling on an island that Bulma states is far enough away from civilization so that Goku and Vegeta can spar without hurting anyone. And these two are punching each other with the force of multiple nukes going off simultaneously, and Bulma isn't being shaken around like a rag doll. Beerus is still doing that thing where all he wants to do is sleep. Ha 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 ha, ha ha ha, you get it? It's an anime stereotype, ha 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 ha, please laugh. Goku's still doing that thing where he eats like his family's about to be executed, and the only way they won't die is if he eats a mountain made of food. They still do that stupid anime thing where someone accuses someone of something, and rather than keeping their cool and saying that they aren't gonna do whatever that thing is they're being accused of, they just act all nervous and run around the place while people get more and more suspicious. It's not like I'm actually trying to do it, baka. Vegeta mentioned something that irked me quite a bit. He mentioned that Frieza was alive now due to the events of the Tournament of Power, and Akira Toriyama wanting to stir it up for no reason. And he says, you remember how much stronger Frieza was when he came back to Earth? What happens when he achieves a newer form? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the issue with the power scaling in Dragon Ball. You cannot and will not be able to achieve anything unless you A, are recently introduced, B, absorb something, C, do a mythical training program, or D, create a new form for the sole purpose of differentiating each of your action figures from each other. See, this one's Toy Bonnie, but this one's Nightmare Bonnie. They're different, but you gotta buy both. There's so much unnecessary anime crap in this movie, man. It's one of the reasons it's hard for me to find a good anime to watch, because for some reason, people get off to people blowing up and yelling at each other for no reason and call it entertainment. A simple conversation between Goku and Vegeta turns into a shouting match only because Vegeta thinks Goku's an idiot and Goku thinks, I wonder what I should eat today. Trunks calls, Kid Trunks, not Future Trunks, since both of them are characters. So Baby Trunks calls and says that Bulma's lab got broken into, finding that the Dragon Balls got stolen, and they were literally just on a pillow next to a window with no security whatsoever. Vegeta says that the place needs better security, not thinking that anyone with a power level above 500 can tank missiles point blank and move at the speed of light. If only there were a place that was guarded by super powerful beings who were always on the lookout and knew the importance of the Dragon Balls so as not to allow them to be taken without a fight, and were able to telepathically alert any of the Z fighters if they happen to be in danger. Vegeta is worried that Frieza might have gotten the Dragon Balls, since the people who should have been able to move faster than the cameras could see were henchmen of his, and rightfully aware that Frieza could wish for immortality, which obviously would be a colossally bad thing. Goku thinks that there's no point in immortality, since if you can't die and just keep losing, then there's a negative side effect to that. But if the Android Saga has taught me anything, is that you can't run out of energy, and your opponent can, you win by default. I'm not sure how either of these two numbskulls think that this is a possibility. Bulma cares just as much of her infant daughter as much as her infant son at the time by giving her to Beerus. And yup, Frieza is behind the snatched balls. He states that he can't get near the planet because his power level would get recognized instantly. Despite the fact that everyone was able to easily tell his power level coming, from the very beginning of the Android saga, and now he's clearly more powerful, so I don't know how that's a thing. The movie tries its best in the next scene with Frieza to say that becoming immortal would really not be a good thing. But Akira Toriyama has always been trying to retcon his story so that the overpowered bits get nerfed into the ground, like stating that power levels don't mean anything when they literally only mean everything. I have a bigger number than you, therefore I win. So, what's Frieza's wish, you may ask? Why is the second arc in this movie centered around Frieza stealing the Dragon Balls? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? He wants to grow 5 centimeters taller because he's small. Ha ha, ha ha, ha. The unparalleled tyrant of the cosmos reduced to a height joke. And that ends the second arc. Third arc starts on the planet where Paragus and Broly remained after they were exiled from planet Vegeta, and we're introduced into what I'd like to call waifu bait. Chilai here only exists for people to fan cream themselves over nothing. I don't recall seeing anyone that looked like this in literally any other part of Dragon Ball Z, when it wasn't imperative that a beautiful girl exists for young boys to froth over. So in the original Broly movie, Paragus had a device created so that the unbridled rage deep within Broly could be controlled and pacified, and had to have a scientist create it for him. Well, it's been like 20 years since Paragus crash landed on a completely devoid of life planet, save for a ravenous species of monsters, but oh my god, what's that? He still has it. How the hell did you make that? You had literally nothing to make it with. And if you're saying he crafted it from the parts of his ship, I don't care. How does Broly not just rip the damn thing off at any point? Here's Android 17 in handcuffs. Now here's him effortlessly breaking those handcuffs. How is this happening? So Paragus and Broly get accepted into Frieza's forces, and Frieza tells Paragus that planet Vegeta was destroyed, to which Paragus states that he doesn't feel any remorse for the event happening. Frieza then replies, "Is that because you never got your revenge?" What? How the hell does Frieza, someone who literally only spoke with King Vegeta, how was he aware that Paragus' son got exiled from the Saiyans, and that Paragus swore to get his revenge at all costs? How the hell does he know this? Oh, it's because Akira Toriyama wrote this script, and the dude who wrote the original is nowhere to be found. Crazy ideas you come up with, Akira. Oop, gotta quickly drop that the pelt around Broly's waist is super special, and then clam up real fast so people wonder what the story behind it is. Also, they look like Star Command troopers. So Broly attacks some dude. Paragus has to use his, weak jolt of electricity to stop him. And I you not, Boobs McGee over here pickpockets the transmitter from Paragus while they're talking to each other. Eye to eye, face to face. Frickin' amateur. They try really hard to make Broly out to be the broken past, lovably dumb character trope, but push it a little too hard when he grabs this cylinder, obviously used to hold water, try to drop it into his mouth, but then get confused as to what a lid is. Gotta really hammer home that this character is super important so people buy the merch and keep watching. God, it feels so great that Broly is my favorite Dragon Ball Z character, and now he's getting exploited, so the money in my wallet literally disintegrates into nothing. Broly immediately starts telling the story about the pelt, stating that it was from a monster that he befriended and was a training partner until Paragus shot its ear off with a gun. While normally quite a sad story, I just can't help but notice the lack of blood from a completely severed ear. Akira Toriyama starts stroking his own ego after telling the story by having his characters remark about how Broly is just so pure and naive, and that the story was the saddest thing they've ever heard in such a long time. It's also at this point that the father figure being a really bad person pandering thing is happening. It seems like everything Paragus does is scrutinized almost immediately after he does it, and he feels that archetype that's trying to be culturally relevant a little too hard. I'm not saying you can't have characters that are this way, and that the problem of father figures today being lackluster individuals is readily apparent, but you can't just recycle a character and try to shove this stupid character arc in my face without me complaining. One of Frieza's henchmen falls off a cliff, and his friend has to pull him up. Or, you know, they could fly. Oh wait, it was just a plot point to reveal the final Dragon Ball. Weird how that always happens. Let's not forget that these henchmen have been literally walking to find the final Dragon Ball in order to not reveal their power level and Whis, who can teleport anywhere in the cosmos, along with Goku and Vegeta, who can fly 7 times around the Earth in a second, and Bulma, who has a ship that is faster than most airplanes, aren't even close to the area with the final Dragon Ball. They literally see Frieza's men in the distance and still take their freaking time even walking up to them, despite the possibility that at any moment, they could wish for Frieza to be immortal, and every single one of them would be out of luck. We're also over 50 minutes into a movie with a runtime of 1 hour and 40 minutes, and the only fighting has been Bardock dying, Paragus and a nobody shooting lasers at bugs, a quick sparring match between Goku and Vegeta, and nothing else. Amazing! Thank God Vegeta does what anyone would try to do as they try to leave. He literally pinpoint precision blasts their ship out of the sky, and Goku immediately grabs it, breaks in, and threatens their very lives. However, Frieza interrupts, along with Broly and Paragus, and the stare down commences. Paragus, for some reason, still thinks that him choosing to stay on the deserted planet was Vegeta's fault, despite the fact that their ship breaking was an accident. And it was King Vegeta that sent Broly away. What was the point of this movie again? Oh yeah, the fighting. So since Goku and Vegeta have arguably lived through fighting Frieza, Cell, Majin Buu, and whatever non-canon nonsensical being, and have a plethora of freebie forms to abuse, Broly, who has only fought insects and grass monsters, obviously keeps up with no problem. Okay, listen, I can't. He's literally, oh God. Vegeta straight up says the freaking dumbest line in the whole movie. He says as he's blocking one of Broly's punches, "He's fast. He must have studied how to use his power." What does that mean? The excuse given in the movie is that Broly is quote-unquote quick to adapt to fighting at whatever level he's fighting at, which is the exact same excuse that Toriyama gave when Goku turned into a god for the first time, but he remembered how to fight at god level even in base Super Saiyan. Let me put a concept in front of you. You have a glass of water. It's full. You drink it. You remember what it's like to stay hydrated at that level. You then enter into the Sahara Desert for 30 days with no supplies. You survive because you're quick to adapt. The government immediately tries to take you in because obviously you're not human. They realize all too late that you are Shaggy, and you make sure no one ever hears from them again. Vegeta goes Super Saiyan, and Broly effortlessly keeps up. Vegeta says, "Damn it, he's learning as he fights." He's learning as he fights to what? Didn't every single one of you train your whole lives to achieve power numbers? What the hell was Broly learning? I was literally daring Vegeta to go anything above a Super Saiyan so that I could have another thing to laugh at the movie for, and sure enough, Vegeta goes Super Saiyan God and knocks Broly halfway across the planet. Paragus then shouts at a normal level from halfway across the planet to speak with Broly, telling him that the fight was over. Vegeta blasts Broly with some god power, and Broly doesn't immediately disintegrate into nothing. And of course, that typical anime fight thing happens where you just feel so much emotion that you get a free transformation out of nowhere. Naruto, Broly goes legendary Super Saiyan, and now the power gap that initially only breached upwards of Super Saiyan 2 now expands to reach beyond and all the way up to Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. Paragus, having thought up until now that even a Super Saiyan was a legend, now spouts out some nonsense about how Broly must be using the power from being an Uzaru without transforming, as if that would have been even a little bit of a boost. Also, thanks for stealing the concept of Super Saiyan 4. Who wrote Dragon Ball GT again? Oh yeah, not you. Despite also saying that he's never seen this form before, he also states that the form has a downside of losing yourself, kinda like what Super Saiyans do. Kinda like what Super Saiyan 4s do. Akira Toriyama, you little thief. We then get an ugly fight scene full of 3D character models being too far away from the screen for us to be able to see any issues, and close-up shots so that you have no spatial awareness. I guess Akira Toriyama finally realized that saying Kamehameha was an awful plan with how fast everyone is moving, so Goku just blasts a bunch of them without saying Kamehameha. It then cuts to Boobs McGee again watching the entire fight without having an untrained eye. Remember how Gohan had a hard time watching Yamcha fight a Cyberman? Yeah, neither does Toriyama. Booby Girl takes this opportunity to say that Broly is just such a poor guy because his dad's forcing him to fight, despite the fact that Broly truly didn't really care at all. And the only thing Paragus did was just tell Broly to fight. He didn't force him or anything. Broly was just immediately ready and needed no coaxing at all. And if Paragus's voice managed to reach Broly back when he was stuck in the mountain, you know, halfway across the world, he literally told him to stop. So, no. Sorry, waifu bait, but your little agenda has no place here. Broly is fighting of his own accord. She even said that Paragus took an innocent kid and raised him to be a cold-blooded savage. Now, I'd like to give her the benefit of the doubt, but when they landed on the desolate planet and found Paragus, they immediately recognized him being Saiyan, meaning that they also should know that the Saiyans are, a cold-blooded, savage-fighting warrior race. But no, it's big bad daddy male dominance. Only bad guys are evil and do things that are bad. Wee wee. Paragus states that if this keeps up, Broly will be killed and it'll all be over. I'm not sure you're using your eyes correctly, my man, but Broly's kicking around two gods. Literal gods. Piccolo remembers that he's part of the Z-verse and gives Goku a pep talk about getting the knocked out of him. Maybe he should have brought some senzu beans, but apparently Goku forgot. Since Goku's losing, he decides to pull out his free win pass and goes blue. And I'm not kidding here. Broly, in his base form, plus a minor Uzuru boost, goes head to head with Blue Goku. I literally want whatever Toriyama was smoking when he wrote this. But Connor, have some fun, jeez. Hi, I'm a fan, and when I'm a fan of something, I want to know everything about it. I learn the world, its rules, I follow behind a creator like a little puppy. But when I find that whoever is leading me into their world is a bad guide, I lose faith in where we're going. So Frieza just kills Paragus and baits Broly into going Super Saiyan. So I guess you don't just focus your energy into your back, and suddenly Broly just gets stronger. Vegeta and Goku start tag teaming Broly and do a pretty piss poor job surviving. So they bait Broly into beating the crap out of Frieza and instant transmission out of there, like a bunch of losers. Please look at this hand if you want to know the animation quality of this movie. You're welcome. It's not like I want to fuse with you, baka. So Goku and Piccolo show Vegeta how to do the fusion dance in 30 seconds, but they touch fingers, so I'm not sure why Goku and Piccolo aren't fusing right now. Haha, Goku and Vegeta mess up the fusion dance and become Fat Gogeta. Haha, they messed it up again and became Skinny Gogeta. I'm curious as to why this even exists, since this is, oh my god, it's a reference to the Boo saga with Gotenks. ZOMG guys, this makes everything so much better! This is a waste of time, and is only here to prolong the movie and fill you with a sense of pride for remembering something else that Toriyama made, whilst forgetting that you paid money to see this movie. So literally an hour goes by with Golden Frieza holding his own against Super Saiyan Broly. An entire hour. And both Goku and Vegeta couldn't even last 30 minutes. Why isn't Frieza just coming down here and killing everyone? Why did he need Broly? What the hell? Why am I even making this video? Nobody cares. Hey, remember that whole Ultra Instinct thing? You think maybe you should use it since Broly's still going toe-to-toe with Gogeta? Yeah, so I don't even know what's going on anymore since they go into some other dimension. Boob McGee is still spouting nonsense about how none of this is Broly's fault. Broly has fire breath now, but at least the fighting scenes got a little bit better. Definitely more action-packed. Anyway, remember that whole subplot about Frieza snatching the Dragon Balls because short people are easy to make fun of? Yeah, without knowing how to summon Shenron or even what Dragon Balls are, Chi-Lai summons the Eternal Dragon by threatening another one of Frieza's henchmen. Note how literally none of the monsters currently on the field run over to the dragon to either kill it, steal the wish, or stop the wish from even happening. Gogeta starts charging up a Kamehameha because Gallic Gun or Final Flash isn't as marketable, and Chi-Lai wishes that Broly would get teleported back to the horrible planet he grew up on. You also know how Shenron likes to take his time by saying, "Your wish has been granted." Yeah, no, within light speed, times a million, Broly is out of there. Also, didn't this new Shenron grant 2 wishes? Shouldn't he have asked what the second wish was gonna be before piecing out? Did you forget that, Akira? All the extra characters escape, and Gogeta confronts Frieza by letting him go instead of, you know, killing him. And before you say, oh, Frieza's learned his lesson, straight up, the next scene is Frieza literally committing genocide on another planet. All of this is on you, Goku and Vegeta. Great job! Goku checks up on Broly and they literally become friends because I'm sure Akira is gonna milk this character for all it's worth. And that's the movie. If I had to praise it for anything, it retconned that stupid character trait of Broly's where all you wanted to do was kill Kakarot. But other than that, it's a horrible mess that makes literally no sense. It's pandering, and Akira Toriyama has lost my respect as a writer and creator. Video over. Psychic's not over. Hey guys, if you want to support me and this channel and want to see more videos like this where I just rip something apart for like no reason because I'm shallow and whatever, I have a Patreon in the description, and if you pledge money to me, maybe I'll do videos that you guys request, and yeah. Other than that, because YouTube's algorithm is so great, if you guys could consider hitting that like button and subscribing, because we all know that is how big YouTubers become awesome. Also hit the notification bell because you will always, every single time, be notified. That system has worked the moment YouTube has implemented it and has never not worked. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I have some other stuff that I'm working on that are less negative than this video. I'm sorry, I'm just a huge Dragon Ball fan, and I watched this along with watching Super, and I hated both of them, and made me like really dislike Akira Toriyama as a writer. But I don't know. I guess I'm rambling. End of video. Thanks for watching. Bye.